welcome everyone to our Easter cooking class with the TM6 Thermomix. We are going to be presenting a few Easter treats tonight. We're going to do hot cross buns, a flavoured butter to go with your hot cross buns. We're doing some tempering chocolate, some little Easter egg cute treats, and a really decadent smoked salmon dip that you can serve on Good Friday. So 5 different dishes we wanted to share with you tonight that we love cooking at Easter time. So to begin with, I'll just let you know as well, if you have questions through the evening, please feel free to put them in chat. There's a few consultants here ready to answer all your questions. Yes, but just if you could stay on mute, that would help everyone be able to hear the presenter. And at the end, I'll have a chance to come off mute and talk with your actual questions if you're wanting to do that instead of chat. I will be sending an email tomorrow with the recording and also links to the recipes. So just relax and enjoy watching for tonight. Yeah, so we'll just get started. The first thing we wanted to show you how to make is hot cross buns. And due to the proving time, I have pre-prepared the dough, and so I'm going to show you what I did earlier, just this afternoon, in this video. So okay, I want to show you now how to make the dough for hot cross buns, and I am using the one from the UK cookie dough just to be different. The one on the Aussie cookie dough is also really great. I just happen to really like this recipe, and I'm going to use guided cooking just so it's easier. So I'm going to press the start cooking button, and it's telling me to get out my bowl and roasting tin. That's okay, I can do that while it's rising. So I do want to just bring you a little bit closer to see what I'm doing here. It's asking me to add in the butter, so I will just, I've already pre-prepared that, and some milk. And you can just see as I pour it in that the scales go up in 1 gram increments, so it's super accurate in the TM6. That was one of the great features I loved with this new model, because I feel like I can be a lot more accurate. And it's asking me to put the lid on, and it says insert the measuring cup. For those who aren't sure, the measuring cup is just this little lid stopper here that goes in the top, and it just clicks in place. And so I've put that on, and I'm going to turn the dial to heat up that mix, the butter and the milk, for 2 minutes. And this is one of the great things I love about the Thermomix, is their temperature control that you have. So this is going to be heating up to 40 degrees. So when we put in our yeast, it will be able to activate really nicely, and the dough will be a nice warm dough even before it starts rising. So it'll be really good. At any point in the recipe, so while this is doing this, you can multitask and look ahead by pressing the 3 dots up here. And I don't know if you can see it, but it says recipe detail. And here you can scroll through to see what's next so that you can get your ingredients ready. So it's telling me to get flour and sugar and yeast and all these spices and everything you need. If you want to see the method so that you can be really prepared, you can read that. Each recipe also has a nutrition guide and some tips. Sometimes there's background information, not too often, but there's always some helpful information on each recipe. But for now, I'm going to pause the recipe because you don't need to see me getting all that out. So the next step is to add our flour, and I'm going to use, it says, oh, can you see it? It says strong white bread flour. And so in Australia, we call that baker's flour. And baker's flour is a little bit different to normal plain flour in that it has more protein, more gluten. It's still made from wheat grain, but it's been grown at a different altitude or something like that. So if you don't have baker's flour, you can use plain flour. It won't be the same end result. If you want to be exact, grab some baker's flour. You can get it at just the normal supermarket or fruit shops or whatever. So in goes the baker's flour. Press next, asks us for a bit of sugar. Obviously, for those who are health conscious, you may not want to add all the sugar or some of it, but this is a hot cross bun recipe, and it is meant to be a sweet dough, so, and sometimes treats. So yeah, I'm very happy to put that in. Okay, so our yeast. So it's telling me I can use 2 teaspoons of dried yeast, or I could use fresh. I've used fresh once before, only once, because it's hard to source, and I actually didn't notice a difference in my end result. So I am using 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, which you can just get, I want to show you, you can just get it in a tube at the supermarket. And I store that in the freezer to keep the yeast active, I guess, active. Anyway, so now we're just going to be adding some different spices. So it's asking me to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. And this is like, doesn't matter if you're not super exact, because it's just the spices. It's a nice mix. Oh, so this is my, it says a teaspoon of mixed spice. This is my homemade mixed spice. There's a recipe on Cookie Do to make your own mixed spice. I really recommend it. Oh my gosh, it smells amazing. And it makes a lot. I use it at Christmas and Easter and then just randomly in between. But yeah, great. The Thermomix can mill its own spices. So you can make your own mixes, which are a bit more flavoursome than the store-bought ones. And adding in half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Oh, got a little bit too much. And some salt. And again, I mill salt in my Thermomix as well. I'm down to the end, down to my last little bit. I just buy the pink Himalayan rock salt and mill it on speed 10 for about 10 seconds is all you need to mill salt, and then you've got additive-free cooking salt that you know what's in it. So that's another benefit to me of making your own in the Thermomix. So I'm adding an egg. So I have noticed that a lot of sweet dough recipes have an egg in it, which is different to your traditional breads. Just changes the texture. It's telling me to add the lid, so just pop that on and I'll press next. And now it's wanting me to mix for 20 seconds on speed 4. I just cut that out a bit so you didn't need to sit there for 20 seconds watching that. Okay, so now it's saying with measuring cup still in place, but I actually just want to show you. After 20 seconds of mixing, it's already pretty well combined. It's doing a good job. And now we're going to use our dough mode to actually knead the dough, and I'll show you through the hole in the lid. If you can't hear me very well while it's kneading, sorry about that. That's just the noise of the machine while it kneads. But I'll show you what dough mode looks like. And so it wants us to do this for 3 minutes. And anytime you have a mode symbol like that, all it wants you to do is turn the selector over here, which I don't know if you can see. The selector is this big round button. You just give it a turn. Attempt to show you. So while it's kneading, it's basically, it's kind of a speed 3, but it's a stronger push than normal. 3, and it goes one way, pauses, keeps going that way, and then it stops and goes the other way. But while it pauses, it gives the dough a chance to rest and like move around in the bowl so that it can be ready for the next push. So 3 minutes of kneading in here is the equivalent of about 20 to 30 minutes of good old-fashioned hand kneading. So really strong and convenient to let the Thermomix do it for you. Okay, so that has just finished kneading. And now it's wanting us to add our dried fruit. So the recipe says 70 grams of raisins and then 70 grams of sultanas. And then I think it also asks for mixed peel, which I actually do like mixed peel, but my family don't like that. So I am going to add 150 grams of dried cranberries because that's what my family likes to eat. So actually in a lot of recipes that ask for sultanas or raisins or whatever, we just do the dried cranberries because it's what we all like. So it's fine to do that. And as you can see, I buy a big bag of it. It's just cheaper to buy it in bulk when it's dried fruit, so it stores a long time in Tupperware. Okay, so I've put in my dried fruit and we're going to knead that again for 1 minute. So the lid goes back on and then we just give, oh, can't see, just give that a twist. The arms automatically lock. So it's just kneading in the, Okay, so that is finished now, and we are going to just roll it into a ball, and yeah, it says put it in a bowl to cover for 2 to 3 hours. This is different to the other recipes that I've seen around, but I like it. So to get the dough out of the bowl, just give the blades a twist and everything should just fall out. That's the case for most doughs unless it's really sticky, and sometimes you just need to get a little bit, but that's done a really good job of getting all of that out. Maybe just get a tiny bit more. Yeah, so last year during lockdown, my family did a hot cross bun bake-off where we picked 3 recipes and we made them all on the exact same day so that we could really compare the recipes, and this was our favorite one. It's the hot cross bun recipe from the UK cookie dough, but also the Italian cookie dough. Yeah, it's the same recipe, but Italian, it's obviously in that language. I'm just making sure all the fruit is everywhere around, which it appears to be, but yeah, I just wanted to check that. And now I'm going to wrap up this dough in, instead of putting it in a bowl and covering it, I'm going to wrap it up in the silicone mat because this traps in the heat and it will help it rise a bit better. I don't want to do it too tight, but I also don't want it loose, but just really roughly wrapped up. And I will leave this probably just over here. Yeah, I decided to put it over there on the stove. So, so I am going to leave that to rise for about 3 hours and show you the result. Okay, here we are back again. And so I let the dough rise for a few hours, and then just as this class was starting, and while I was showing you that video, I was rolling the dough because I want them to have enough time to rise and be done before the end of our class tonight. So nothing fancy that you needed to see really. I literally just divided it all into 15 balls, rolled it and put it down. So they don't look like anything fancy. But the other one thing I do after I roll it in balls is I push each one down so that they are touching, because it's just my preference. When they're done, I like to be able to pull them all apart from each other rather than having separate dinner roll stars. So the next part of the recipe is to make the piping. So it's just asking me to add some flour. And this is for the crusses. And so, yeah. In that goes. And then I think it's a pinch of salt. Oh, and I'm going to need more oil. Oh, no, that'll be all right. I've probably got a teaspoon here. So with your crosses, sometimes I do, depending on how authentic you want them to be, you don't have to do crosses. You can do cool designs on the top of your hot cross buns. So sometimes I do the initials of my kids or stars or hearts or something like that. Just whatever will make them excited. But yeah, crosses are nice and traditional for Easter, obviously. Okay. Oh, that'll do. And so we're going to mix that around for 30 seconds. And then we're going to put it in the piping bag, which to fill the piping bag, I just put it in a glass because I don't have 3 hands. My piping bag is really big. You can also use a plastic bag or a snap lock bag and just cut a hole in the corner. Thermomix Mix Shop also sells disposable piping bags if you'd rather use disposable. They're eco-friendly as well. So That's okay. I'm actually, no, that's good. It's very thick. I'm like, I might mix it just a few more seconds because it's looking very thick. Thick's actually not a problem, but I can see a lump. That'll be good. So if anyone has any hot cross buns questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I should say as well in our bake-off that we did still really like the Aussie one. The Aussie cookie dough one is the one I've been making for years. I've been making it for 10 years and we've always liked it. But I did notice recently, and I haven't had a chance to try it yet, is, oh, this is collapsed, that there's a new brioche hot cross bun recipe on cookie dough. And I wasn't game enough to try it today for the class because I wanted to show you something proven and tested, but I am very keen to give it a go. So I'll have to get back to you all about that. And if you've made hot cross buns, I'd love to hear how you've gone with them. Brenda's just asking in the chat, can you add choc chips instead? Absolutely, you can. We have done that as well because I do have one daughter who doesn't like any dried fruit, nothing. So she likes the choc chip hot cross buns. You can add, and you can do fruitless as well. Like there's no rules against doing whatever is going to make you happy. Oh, there's a specific recipe? Penny and Fidesz are putting some tips in the chat, which is great. Yes, I used to struggle big time with the piping bag, Debbie. So that's my little tip for you. I'd have lost just a tiny bit of it, but that is not a problem. Okay, so I've got my piping mixture, and all I'm going to do is, can you see? Hopefully you can see that. Because I am doing crosses tonight, it's a matter of just doing lines all the way across. And so you can see it works really easily. And then just a few little lines the other way. So that's another reason why it's good to have the buns squished together so that they're touching. But yeah, as I said, you can do different designs. You don't have to do crosses. Depending on where you're at with that. Ooh. Give it another twist. And there we go. So I'm going to set this aside to rise probably only for about 5 minutes or 10 minutes maybe. The UK recipe wants this to rise for like another hour, and I don't have time in the class to show you that because I really want it to be done, obviously, to show you the last step. But whatever rise time you have is good. So I'll just sit that aside while we go on and make some other things. And actually, we are going to cross over to Penny, who is going to show us a beautiful accompaniment to go with your hot cross buns. You will want to try this at home.
Hi everyone, I'm Penny. Laura, I'm going to change this recipe up a little bit because I am going to do a vanilla honey butter. 7 ounces of beautiful, amazing vanilla beans, which I want to try. Okay, so we're going to do the butter first. I'll just move you closer to the Thermomix. So I'm just going to use the cookie dough recipe because I have some distractions going on around me. So I'm just going to pop the butterfly tool in. Those distractions would be a 4.5-year-old child at my ankle. So I'm going to pop in 600 grams of cream. And then we're just going to pop the lid on with the measuring cup in. And we're just going to whip it on speed 4. So I don't know if anyone makes their own butter, but it can be quite cost effective. I don't know if you can hear me, but depending on the freshness of your cream will make a difference to the amount of time that you're whipping for, and you will be able to hear it change in the machine. Just going to take my lid off, my measuring cup off. Okay, so that's not quite ready. So what I'm just going to do is pop it on speed 4 and I'll just keep going. Show you what it looks like inside the bowl. That's all my dirty sink. Almost coming together.
I find that it depends how fresh your cream is as to how long it takes for the cream to separate into butter and liquid. So that's probably what's happening there. It's like I've had it take sometimes less than a minute and sometimes up to 5 minutes. So it really just depends on the use by date of your cream. So if ever it's taking a long time, don't stress, it will happen. It looks like Penny's still watching it. But it's also a good point to know that when you are whipping cream, to watch it, because sometimes it happens in 20 seconds and your cream is whipped. So it's kind of a joke in my family because my sister's done it and I've done it, and it's like, you're ready for dessert and you start talking while the cream's whipping and you've wrecked your whipped cream, but you've made butter, so side effect. How's it going, Penny?
It's still going.
That's okay. This is just funny.
It's changed.
Sorry.
Hopefully. No, it's still going. Sorry.
That's okay.
This is probably the longest one that I've ever had.
Yeah, I have had long. But yeah. Is it changing now? Yeah, Debbie's just put in chat, a watched pot never boils. And how many people have we got watching?
Okay, hang on. Let's see how we, look at that. Perfect.
Vanessa has just asked, which way, does it take longer when the cream is fresher? Yes, that's correct. So if you buy cream that's like past its use by date or on clearance, that's going to work faster. That looks great.
So happy with that. So if I was prepared, I would have had a bowl to tip it into, but hang on 1 second. So not only are we going to get butter out of this and flavoured butter, we are also going to get some beautiful buttermilk, which I'll be able to use in something else. I'm just going to take my butterfly out. And then using the simmering basket, strain the liquids from solids, reserving the liquid. So I'm just going to tip it in there. So it wants 500 mils of chilled water. So I've just had this bottle chilling in the fridge. And you want to use cold water because you don't want to melt your butter. Okay. And then you pop back in your butter solids. So that's what I've got. I'm just going to pop them back in. And then you can see here in that bowl, that's my buttermilk. So I'll use that for something else tomorrow. So I'm just going to pop my lid back on and we're just going to wash the butter. We're just going to pop it on speed 4. And you can, I might just do it for another 5 seconds. Okay, so the liquids and the solids should separate again, which they have. And I am just going to, I'll do this over my sink. I'm just going to use the simmering basket again to strain the liquid with the solid. So I'm not going to keep this a lot of water because it is just water and washing the butter. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of the water. So on the Thermomix in this recipe, they've actually got a video of what to do. So if you just press play, it will actually show you if my internet's working properly what to do. So you can roll it into a log and you can freeze it or pop it in the fridge. But that's kind of cool, one of the new features of the TM6 with the cool little videos. And then you can use as needed. So what I'm going to do, this recipe isn't a Thermomix recipe, but we'll see how it goes, is make vanilla honey butter. So it requires a cup of butter. So I'm just going to measure that in a measuring cup. And it's still fairly soft, so that should be good. So I'm just going to pop that into my bowl. And sorry, I'll just grab my photo. So the recipe also says 1 cup of butter, half a cup of honey, which I've pre-measured, a 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So I do have some brewing in the cupboard, but it's not quite ready. So I'll just use the store-bought one. It does say 2 tablespoons of warm water, but I'm actually not going to put it in because there's still a bit of moisture in the butter. And it says the caviar from 2 to 3 vanilla beans. So that's what I scraped out earlier. So I will pop that in. My kitchen actually smells amazing because who doesn't love vanilla beans? And I'm just going to whip this on speed 4 till it all comes together. I'm not going to set a time. I'll just play it by ear, really. So the recipe says to whip it all together until soft and fluffy and to store it in the fridge. This recipe apparently makes 2.5 pint jars. So I'm actually not quite sure how much that is, but obviously just over a cup. I might just add in, it's looking pretty good and it smells pretty good. almost looks like buttercream, really. I might just add in the butterfly tool and keep mixing if you want to go to something else, Laura. Or am I doing my little mess next?
No, that's fine. I will just show, because you'll only be a minute. Sorry, I'm trying to replace the spotlight. I will just quickly share with you all an opportunity for you all. If anyone's interested in sharing the Thermomix with any of your friends or family or just whoever, there are host rewards involved. So just, you only need 2 people. We can come to your home and cook some things together, or it can be virtual where we do it over Zoom and you still get to choose what you want to see and it's still interactive with you and your couple of guests, but everyone's in the comfort of their own home over Zoom. And just for doing that, you can get a great discount on these host rewards. So there's different thermoserver options or our popular mats. If any of your friends decide to purchase a Thermomix, you would get one of those free instead of just the great discount, which is, so either way, it's great. But yeah, so I just wanted to share that with you all quickly. And there's heaps of different uses for all of our different host reward options. The thermoservers are very rarely on offer for purchase. They are usually only available as host rewards. So, and they are awesome. They are double insulated stainless steel that keep your food hot for a couple of hours. They're just great. And it's good to have the different shapes as well, because they, I don't know, they just do different things. I do my noodles in the oval one. My favorite is the oval one. I like that for serving. But yeah, they're all great. So just a little snippet about host rewards. Yeah, and the white one's really good. So I was about to say, Debbie, the white one's really good for making yogurt because the white one fits inside your Varoma. So it's especially the yogurt one, but it's also just a normal, like it's great as a normal thermoserver as well. But it has a clear lid, and so you can see what's happening in there while it's cooking the yogurt. So yeah, okay, I'll put you back to Penny to show you the end result of the butter.
Got it. So this is my whipped vanilla honey butter. It's not bad. So what I'm going to do is I'll just store it in one of these, like an old salsa jar. So I keep lots of old jars to store them in. But there's heaps of different variations that you can make. I did this one a few weeks ago. It just looks like butter, but it's actually maple butter, and it is amazing. I love this. So we'll have to see which one is my new favourite.
Awesome. The other one I've done is honey cinnamon butter, which goes well with your hot cross buns. So that's great to see a variation of that. Thanks, Penny. I'm going to show you how to temper some chocolate now, which is a good thing to do at Easter. But I wanted to do a variation by making some chocolates that have crushed hazelnuts in them. So I have dry roasted these hazelnuts in the Thermomix at 120 degrees, 5 minutes on soft speed. And they smell great, and they've just cooled down, and I've just started taking off some of the shell, but I'm not going to bother with the rest because the ones that are still in their shell, it didn't come off easily enough. So I was like, that can be in the chocolate, it won't matter. So I will put that in. Oh, I got to cancel out of the hot cross bun recipe. So I am just going to sort of crunch the nuts. I haven't decided which speed yet. Maybe I'll start at 5 and I'll see how it goes. I don't want them to be too fine, but anyway, we'll just see. Sometimes I experiment. So that was 5 seconds on speed 5, and I'll see. And if I want it longer, I'll just do longer. I think it's good. Smells really good. So it's just crushed nuts, basically. I could have also pressed the turbo button, but this is what I decided to do for today. And that was about 50 grams of hazelnuts. When you're dry roasting nuts in your Thermomix, smaller quantities are better, because what you actually need is for the nuts to be in contact with the base of the bowl. If you're doing bigger quantities, just do it in the oven. But for small quantities, it does a great job. Just 5 minutes, 120 degrees. Really good. So, and you can buy roasted nuts, but I didn't plan ahead. I had bought these organic raw hazelnuts and then realized I've never shelled a nut in my life. Even when recipes tell you to, I don't usually do that. So there you go. So for tempering chocolate, you need a good quality chocolate that actually has cocoa butter in it. So I'm using Calibo. If you're using a compound chocolate, it's still, you're going to be melting your chocolate and it's still going to be nice. But if you're talking to a chocolatier, they'll be like, well, no, that's not tempered chocolate. That's compound. So, but yes, and you can just get this at Costco quite cheap. So why not? I'm going to do around around 150, maybe I'll do 200. Yeah, as I said, if you're just wanting to have fun melting some chocolate to make shapes with the kids, don't stress about what you've got. It's still going to be great. So the first step, you can just melt it as is. Sorry, these are drops. So I could just start melting them as is, but if you want to speed up the process, you can grate it for about 5 or 6 seconds, which I will do now, just on speed 7 or 8. Okay, that was only 3 seconds because I could hear that it was starting to really start to powder. So 3 seconds of grating our chocolate. And I've got some very fine pieces of chocolate. So that's just going to melt faster. And to do any sort of chocolate work in your Thermomix, you really do need to make sure the bowl is super dry. If you have any water in there, it will seize, and that's when it won't work. And you still can use that. You can add some cream and make it into ganache. So don't ever like waste the chocolate if it seizes. So what I'm going to do now is turn it to about 5 minutes. It'll probably be done sooner, but that's what I'm going to turn it to. And if you're tempering chocolate, I hear different recipes and from different brands, it depends on the brand, somewhere between 40 and 50 degrees. But what you're going to do is melt it. I'm doing 50 degrees, so I've got, I hope you can see, I'm doing 5 minutes, 50 degrees, speed 1. And then I'm going to turn the temperature off and keep it spinning for another minute or 2, and that's when it's tempering. So you're letting that temperature just start to drop, and that's tempering chocolate. So pretty easy in the Thermomix. You don't need to get out the double boiler and have the water and everything happening. And so then I'm going to add back in my hazelnut, and I'm going to pour it into my molds. So I've got some Easter egg molds, and Thermomix sell these really great Easter molds as well. They're really, it's very good quality silicone. Everything just pops out really easily, and some probably more fancier kind of, it's called the Imperial mold. So I will fill those up when this is done and show you the end result. And it needs to set for about 2 hours. So I won't be able to show you the end result tonight of this one, but I can put a pic in for tomorrow and put it in the email that I send you tomorrow. Yeah, so at the moment, I'm just going to cross back to Penny, who's going to show us another really cool Easter treat.
Thanks, Laura. Yes, so I am going to do chocolate Easter nests, and these are on Cookie Dough, but this is on the UK Cookie Dough. So nice and simple to find. What I'm going to do is we'll start cooking. So the first step is to line a 12-hole muffin pan with paper cupcake cases, which I've already done. Pop in 140 grams of shredded wheat cereal. So I had never bought shredded wheat cereal before, but this is what they look like, and they come wrapped in two in paper. It's really quite cool. So we're just going to pop these in. So it's about 6 of these little cake things.
So Penny, is that, so that's different to Wheat Bix?
Yes. I thought it might have been Wheat Bix, but then I had a closer look at the picture and it wasn't. And I've made similar before, but I used the Chang's fried noodles.
So where do you get
that? Wasn't
in the cereal up?
Yep, just from Woolworths. Hang on 2 seconds. I'll grab the box and I'll show you.
Okay.
It's just Uncle Toby's. So they were $5 at Coles. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That's okay. So we're going to pop the lid on. We're just going to crush them for 3 seconds on speed 6. And then we're going to transfer them into a large bowl. So they're really quite crushed. And then we're going to pop in 250 grams of milk chocolate. So I'm just using the Aldi milk chocolate, which I just broke up a little bit. I tend to use this for a lot of the baking that I use chocolate for. We're just going to grate the chocolate on speed 10. And scrape down the side. Oh, I hope this works. It's not looking fabulous. And then we're going to pop in 30 grams of unsalted butter. So I'm just going to use the butter that I made before. 2 tablespoons of golden syrup. So golden syrup is one of those awesome staples that you can make in the Thermomix for next to nothing because it's water, sugar, and a slice of lemon. And then we're going to pop our lid on. And we're going to melt that for 4 minutes on speed soft or slower speed at 50 degrees. So Laura, if you've got something else you want to fill in those 4 minutes.
Yeah, I'll just see how this chocolate's going over here. Oh yeah, that's looking good. So it's time to add my hazelnuts. Oh, I should show you. It's been going for 4 minutes and I've got just, ooh, beautiful. And halfway through, I did just give it a little scrape and make sure that none of the chocolate was gathering on top of the blades because I've got a small quantity in here. If you had bigger, it wouldn't matter. But I only did 150 grams, I think. Or did I do 200? Can't remember. There's a really great recipe on Cookie Doo called Chocolate Hazelnut Kisses, which I was kind of roughly had in my head to copy. But that one also has Nutella in it, and I don't have Nutella. And you can make Nutella in your Thermomix, but I haven't done that today. So, okay, so this time I'm turning the temperature off, and I want to mix this for a minute to get the hazelnut all mixed in. So while that happens, just quickly, in case we have anyone on here who does not yet have a Thermomix, or if you know a friend who wants to purchase a Thermomix, we have some really great deals happening. So usually head office sort of have an offer for customers and it changes each month. At the moment, we have 2 offers. So, I need to close that. So hopefully you can see bundle option number 1, which is available all March, is to receive, it's to pay an extra $89, which has a saving of, oh, I've forgotten how much it saves. I'll look that up. But Well, actually, I can tell you it's 200 because the Meter Plus is normally $199 and the Kitchen Toolkit is normally $90, but this bundle is together for $89. So huge savings for anyone who's interested in getting these awesome accessories into your kitchen. The Meter Plus is a meat thermometer which works with your an app on your Thermomix so that you can make perfect roasts, barbecues. You can use it in a Varoma as well. It's just awesome. And the Kitchen Toolkit has 3 Solingen steel knives. Solingen steel is the same steel we use for the Thermomix blades, and your kitchen scissors, peeler, and sorbet scoop. So really great extra appliances there. And option 2 is for anyone who's not interested in option 1, because some people aren't. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting all my figures now. It's to receive our oval thermo server and our blade cover for $39. And normally the oval server is not even available for purchase, but the value is $160 and the blade cover value is $35 as well. So really great offer as well for anyone who wants to purchase a Thermomix at the moment. So if you have anyone, just let them know it's a good time. Okay, so that is ready. And I am just going to spoon it into my molds. So what you want with your tempered chocolate is the shine, and I can see the shine already. It is not looking dull here. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, I haven't even got my overhead lights on, but I think you can see that shine. So this is what I'm just going to put into my molds. This is the fiddly part that I usually get my kids to worry about. I think I'm going to use a spoon. Hang on. I'm using a plastic spoon because I don't like using a metal spoon in my Thermomix jug. The other thing you can do is obviously tip it out into a bowl and work from there. But yeah, I think if you're wanting to get some molds in time for Easter, I've seen them at Woolworths. Can't see what I'm doing. I've $2 shops, like they're around everywhere. The theming is good these days. You can always buy what you need. But yeah, the mix shop, the Thermomix online mix shop does have some really great molds you can purchase, which would still arrive by Easter if you ordered them now. There's a really great St. Patrick's Day deal on at the moment as well on the mix shop. So, and I think that ends today. I could be wrong about that. Penny might know better. But yeah, just filling these. So there is another way to make Easter eggs in your Thermomix if you have, just by melting chocolate. If you have an egg mold where you make a hollow Easter egg, so you want to coat your mold around, but then scoop out the middle so that they're hollow, and to put them together, which you can do with these solid eggs as well if you have flat tops, which I'll try and flatten in a second. If you put a baking tray in the oven for about 5 minutes and heat up your baking tray, and then get both sides of, or even just one side of your Easter egg, and just run it, just like hold it on the baking tray for like 10 seconds until it starts to melt, and that like acts as glue to stick together with the other half. So that's a pretty cool trick that I've seen done as well. Okay, how are my Easter eggs going? So any other questions about chocolate or anything, please feel free to put in the chat. Oh, and I need to check sorry, I just actually need to check the hot cross buns are doing well. They're doing very well, and they're done. So I will put them over here. to start cooling for a second while we carry on with what we're doing here. How exciting. They smell amazing. I'm just going to fill up this other mold. So yeah, good time to get in the kitchen and make chocolates around Easter. And there are some recipes about tempering chocolate on Cookie Doo and on the recipe community. There's actually a whole recipe book called I Love Chocolate, I Love Thermomix, and it uses, they promote, I don't know if it's bi-calibre chocolate or if they just promote it, but it's like, it's all about using good quality chocolate to make different treats in your Thermomix. It's amazing. So if you're in the Hills area and want to borrow my chocolate Thermomix book, you're welcome to, just to have a look. Okay, we're going to go back to Penny because I can see she is ready with her next step.
Yes, I am. Okay, so mine chocolate is a little bit different consistency to Laura's, but I'm just going to, before it all sets again. And so the next step on the recipe says to add it with shredded wheat and stir until combined. And then okay, sorry, this glass bowl is really cold, so it's starting to set. I lost half my patty cases. So I'm just going to divide the mixture between my cases into little nests. And then I am going to top them with 2 to 3 mini eggs. So I just bought the Darrell Lee, just the Darrell Lee speckled eggs, just from Coles. And I will continue with this before it completely sets.
Cool. Okay. So what I've done just then is I had a lot of the chocolate grouping around. Oh, you can't see. There you go. Grouping on the blade. So I put the Thermomix back on for 1 second on a high speed, and everything just flings to the side. And that's what I do when I'm making cookies or cupcakes or just anything where I really want to make sure I have no waste. So it's been able to get me a whole heap more. But the other thing you can do with, once you've been making chocolate in your Thermomix, is do not wash that out with water, but add in some milk and whiz that around, and you've got a chocolate milkshake, or heat it up for a minute or two on about 80 degrees, and you've got a really delicious hot chocolate. Like a side effect of cooking chocolate in your Thermomix. And this one will be good because it's got the extra hazelnuts in it as well. So yeah, okay, I'm just doing the fiddly part now that's kind of boring to watch, sorry. So I'll be done in a second. I just want to make sure I get all that. And I will set this bowl aside, and after the class do exactly what I just said, because I have another bowl I can use. The benefits of having 2 bowls. And the other good thing is if anyone here is interested in becoming a Thermomix consultant, we have the opportunity to earn another bowl for your Thermomix. And that's just, I mean, there's so many benefits to becoming a Thermomix consultant. They're always treating us with different things, but that is just one of them. One of the great things. So if anyone is actually interested in becoming a Thermomix consultant, let your consultant know, or let me know, and I'll get you the info, and you can just get the info, and that will help you decide whether it will actually work for you or not. I'm just bouncing the trays to flatten it out and level it out, make sure there's no air holes, but that looks good. So I'll set that aside. You can set it at room temp. It's good to set it in, oh, actually, I have a hole I can fill. You can also set these in the fridge. I'm just leveling it all out because some of mine were a bit mounded. So just using the spatula to do that. I'm making such a mess. And it's because I'm trying to rush, because I'm conscious of how that it's not that interesting watching me do this part of it. But hopefully you've learned something about chocolate in your Thermomix tonight. Not everyone is game to do that. So, yeah. Yes, that's going to be good. Okay, I will clean that up later. And tomorrow when I send you the email, I'll send you the pictures of the end result. Cool. Just washing my hands, sorry. Okay, moving right along. We need to do the glaze for the hot cross buns. So best part about hot cross buns is the beautiful sugary glaze that we put on top, and that's pretty easy. It is just 2 tablespoons of sugar and 2 tablespoons of water, and you basically just dissolve the sugar in the water for 1 minute. It doesn't matter. I'll do 1 minute, 100 degrees. It's in the recipe, so don't feel like you have to remember what I'm saying. It's going to be beautiful on our hot cross buns. You'll need a pastry brush for this as well. Okay, let me see if that's done. Okay, looking good. So if you want to, you can put it aside on a cooling rack before you do this. I prefer to glaze it while it's still on my baking mat, just so it doesn't make too much of a mess, I guess. So this is really very easy. I am just going to use my pastry brush to just glaze it on. And I usually get to go over the glaze twice because this makes a lot. And I've seen different recipes that have vanilla in it for the glaze, or brown sugar instead of raw sugar. So that would give you a darker glaze. Whatever you want to do will work. It will be great. But this is what gives it that beautiful sticky top that the store-bought hot cross buns just can't do, because they're they wouldn't package nicely if they did that. And because they're not fresh, I guess. Yeah. Trying to get it all around. And I'll show you in a second what it looks like when they break apart. Now I wish I had Penny's beautiful butter here at my house so that I could try it on one of these hot cross buns.
Send Jared over to pick it up.
Yeah. And he could bring a bun for you on his way.
Oh, that sounds good.
I don't actually know where he is. Okay, that looks pretty good, but I still have some extra glaze, so I'm just going to kind of, now that I've made sure every of the buns has been nicely brushed, I can just drizzle the rest over. Cool. So I needed to quickly wash that bowl so I can show you the next recipe. But there's our buns, and I can I'll just show you how they pull apart. So if I just grab one, oh, so good. You can see that texture on the inside, super soft. I don't know if you can see in there. Yeah, just beautifully perfect all around. Still a bit hot, but absolutely delicious. So that's how to make hot cross buns in your Thermomix. So it does take a bit of time. This is like not one of the quickest things to do because you've got the rising times and the different steps, but the payoff is awesome. And you can also make the dough and have it ready on your tray and put in the fridge on the Saturday night, and then in the morning on Easter Sunday morning, all you need to do is take them out and put them in the oven because they will have been rising in the fridge overnight. Put them in the oven and they're ready in 15 minutes. All you need to do then is the glaze. So Easter Sunday morning can be really easy if you do that. That's something I often do.
Laura, can I just show you these Easter nests?
Oh yes, please. Sorry, I'll spotlight you.
No, that's okay.
There you go.
These are quite cute.
Oh, they're adorable.
I actually really like them. I'll take a photo for you later.
Yes, please. They look so cute. And that was pretty easy.
Yeah, they were. The next step is to pop them in the fridge 30 minutes to let them set. I really had to stir the chocolate in with the shredded wheat. It was like it wasn't coming together, but after stirring it for a while and sort of mushing down on the chocolate, it sort of came together quite well.
Great. Good tips. Okay. So we are moving on now to the last dish I want to show you is, it's not chocolatey, but I love this dip. Like, it is so decadent. It's called the smoked salmon mousse dip, and it's from the cookbook we have called Devil of a Cookbook, which was, it's a gourmet book made by a gourmet chef in Tasmania, and it was raising money for the Tassie Devils to build their fence down in Tasmania, and they raised heaps of funds. So Devil of a Cookbook is a great book, but this recipe, I'll add it in the email tomorrow. It is so good, but salmon is the kind of thing people eat on Good Friday, which is why we've included it in our Easter class. Yes, so the first step is to get half a red onion. Sorry, I need to get my ingredients ready. So we've got half a red onion just going in, and the leaves of one sprig of dill. Yeah. I'm just going to do sort of, I'll do a bit more. The recipe says 1 to 2, and dill sprigs seem to vary in their sizes greatly. So that probably looks good. Whatever amount works. And so we are going to put the lid on and chop all that up for 3 seconds on speed 7. Okay, the next step is to add our cream cheese. So it's a block of cream cheese, some cream, which is 120 grams of cream. So I need to, I never get over that. After 2 or 3 seconds of chopping your onion and herbs, it's just perfect. And love the color of the red onion as well. It's nice and purple. So I'm adding in a block of cream cheese. put on the scales to weigh my cream. Okay. And then, where's the lid of that? I've got a tablespoon of lemon juice, which I just did earlier, and then added in the Tabasco in there just because I was trying to get organized, because I had gymnastics and basketball today, so I needed to be really organized for this class. So all that goes in. We are going to whip that for 20 seconds on speed 4. So in that 20 seconds, that's the time it took me to, that was perfect timing, to roughly chop my smoked salmon. So that goes in next. It's like so creamy and beautiful. So in goes the smoked salmon. And also some capers, so a tablespoon of capers. And that's it. That's all the ingredients. So now I'm going to mix that for 30 seconds on speed 5. So I just heard that an air pocket has come. Sometimes you need to listen to your Thermomix, and obviously it would have been fine if I just kept mixing, but I can hear the air pocket. So I'm just going to pop it and scrape it down a bit and keep, you know what, it's looking really good. Yeah, that's done. I don't need to keep going. So that was 20 seconds, maybe even a bit less. Yeah. But this looks so delicious. I have to pour it out for you to see. And it makes so much. So this is obviously just good with dip, but you can pipe this into puffs, like a savory sort of choux pastry puffs, to make some really gourmet hors d'oeuvres, or put it in little tart shells so that you've got a nice smoked salmon tart. But yeah, just I've been so excited about this dip because I love it, and I have been known to eat way too much of it. It really does just make a lot. So if you're entertaining over Easter, I highly recommend this, because everyone who tries it is very impressed. And it's not the type of dip you can just buy at Woolworths. It's even though there are some good dips you can buy, this is next level. So same trick, because I've got it all over the blades. I don't know if you can see that with the lighting, but I'm just going to flip it to the sides by going up to speed 8 or 9, doesn't matter. Just for 1 second oh, and it says, how long will this last? How long will this last? Just as a couple of days in my house, because I love it. I would actually be checking the use by date of each item, because we've got fresh smoked salmon, cream, and cream cheese. So a lot of ingredients that have the potential to be needing to be used by. So that's all I'd be checking. And obviously, if you're storing it in an airtight container in the fridge, like, make sure it's sealed tight. So maybe a week-ish. Yeah, check your dates. That's an important thing to do. But as you can see how quick it was to whip up. So if you have an event, I mean, you could do it the day before or a few days before, but you see how quick that was. and you don't necessarily need to, but look how much it makes. And then sprinkle some extra dill on top to sort of garnish. I don't know, just being silly, but it's absolutely beautiful dip. So the other thing I wanted to show you all this evening, I know I always try to keep to an hour and we've gone a little bit over time, but I just really wanted to quickly show you another Easter hack for you all, because I don't know if everyone knows this. When you're in cookie dough, and this is the same on your TM6 screen or on the website. I'm just screen sharing the website at the moment. On your search bar, you can just type the word Easter and a whole heap of recipes come up, which are really great for entertaining and super cute. I've made a lot of these recipes, but the other thing you can do is change your filters. So I've taken away Australia, and now I'm going to have a whole heap of more Easter recipes that come up. So your default in cookie dough is always that it's our Aussie home head office made recipes. But if you take that off, a whole heap more things come up. So many cute recipes to try. Once you've found a recipe that you want to give a go, so let's say you want to make, I don't know, these lemon curd Easter biscuits look delicious to me. If you press the 3 dots, I need to be logged in. Chrome always logs me out. That doesn't happen in Safari. Okay, let's say I want to make the Easter babka. Press the 3 dots. I can make it a bookmark, which I already have. Add it to a collection. So you could have a collection for Easter, or I would probably put that in my bread recipe or my dessert recipe collection or whatever you choose. Or you could add it to your weekly planner so that it goes on the day you want to make it. And my favorite, add it to your shopping list, because if you're doing meal planning and you create your whole week's worth of shopping lists, let's add a few things because I want to show you how this works. It's very cool. When you go to your week, the recipes you want to make come up, and so does your shopping list, but it puts it in categories. So I've got 11 recipes in my shopping list, but if I go to categories, it puts it all together so that when you're doing your shopping, all the baking ingredients are together, all your cereals and grains, all your dairy. So it's just really easy while you're shopping. Anything you already have at home, just tick off before you go to the shops. This shopping list can be on your app on your phone. So as you're shopping, as you add it to the trolley, you can tick it off. And the other thing, if you don't even want to go shopping, is you can press this order ingredients button and do an online delivery. So they deliver to your home for a small charge, I think. But what I often do is the click and collect because it's free. And when you're here, they automatically choose what brand they think you might want. So you can just swap that if you don't like that brand, or if you want a different thing for whatever reason, you can just swap it. Once you're ready with your shopping list, like once you're happy with it, you just come down here and press add to Woolies cart and it logs you into your online Woolies account. So there's no agreement with Coles at the moment, and I believe that's something to do with their IT on their website, but at the moment it's great if you shop at Woolies to connect it with your shopping list from Cookie Dough, which means you'll never waste food. You'll always have the ingredients you need for what you're wanting to cook that week, and it will, I don't know, just save you so much time. You'll be organized, all the rest of that. So yes, that's my cookie dough tip for you all. And the other thing, the other thing, just if you aren't aware, on the TM6, if I go this way, I've got all the modes that we have. We've got some new modes that have been coming over software updates that just come regularly to the machine. So we've actually got another page happening here and blank spaces that will fill up over time as we get more modes on. So you've got your slow cook and your ferment mode there, but the self-clean mode is awesome. all the different modes, they're all good. But if you go the other way, you're in Cookie Do. So the same thing you see on the app or on the website is also on the TM6 screen. And that's what makes guided cooking and searching on here so much easier. So just before we finish, if you don't mind, I'm just going to launch some polls. These are sort of my obligation polls I need to launch. The first one is if you're interested in learning more about becoming a Thermomix consultant, if you could please answer the question on the poll that you can see at the moment. And then there's just 2 more questions, but I'll just give you a second. Yeah, and this isn't saying that you definitely want to become a consultant. It's just asking to get more information. So, okay, I will end there. And anytime, if you think about it in the future and you are interested, just get in touch with either myself or your consultant. This isn't the be all and end all. Cool, and I am going to the next poll, which is if anyone is interested in hosting a cooking experience, which could be virtual or in person. So if you can answer that one. We won't take it personally if you say no, that we totally understand. But it is cool to kind of share your love of the Thermomix with your friends and family. Just give you a second. And the last one is, and I haven't looked at everyone who's on here tonight, but it's if anyone is interested in learning more about purchasing a TM6 Thermomix. So you can answer that question as well. I think most of you on here already do have a Thermomix. So yeah, that's totally fine as well. These are our standard questions for our cooking classes. So great, everyone's answered. Thank you. So as always, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Thanks for your comments in the chat. It makes us feel like we're not alone in our kitchens, even though we actually are. But yes, if you have any other questions that you haven't had answered, asked yet tonight. Oh yes, there's a question. Oh yes, I know. When are the bowl blade lid sets available again in the mix shop? For the TM6 model, we have not heard, except that it's still not soon. They still haven't, they're not on their way yet. So we definitely will let you know when they come in stock. The only way to get them, they have set aside a small portion for those, anyone becoming a Thermomix consultant has the chance to earn them. So that's the only way at the moment. But yeah, they'll be starting to run out of those even soon, but hopefully really soon, and we will let you know. And yeah, so if anyone has any other questions, feel free to keep putting them in the chat, or I'll stay on if you want to come off mute and ask me. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining, and we hope to see you again at another class in the future. And I will get that email out to you tomorrow with all the info I said I would send.